Hey, wonderful people, a pleasant evening to everybody, afternoon rather, to everybody. I kept thinking about something that I would hear, for the ladies. And notice I say ladies, not just women. Women who are of upright and decent character, not perfect, because no one is, still having flaws. But I would say you are, you're between 70, 80, 60, 70, 80%, because the most anybody can offer you is 80%. And you keep wondering why the man or the men, they don't seemingly want you, and then when you look, they end up marrying somebody else. And you said, oh my God. And people will tell you it is because he really was not into you, he really did not love you. And you hear all of those things that seem to singe on the feeling and the emotions of the woman, making her feel less than, as though she was not of any worth to the man. And they will tell you, don't worry, your Boaz will come. It's just that one was not for you. Perhaps that one was not for you, but it may not necessarily be on what it is that you were taught from in the beginning. Remember, if we're taking it from history and we look at the historicity of life and how women were made to feel and how women were treated, we were considered in some cultures, if not all, inferior to man, that we were secondary to the male species, the male sex, that men were superior to us. And, and that probably would corroborate the song, one of the great songs by James Brown, It's a Man's World. And I came across a post with a man speaking. He said, let me tell you something, ladies, nothing is wrong with you. You're actually the best woman for him. I'm paraphrasing. The reason why the men will leave you, so to speak, and go and marry the other woman, it's because she may not necessarily have the upright character, the Proverbs 31 attributes. She may not necessarily be that. And because she doesn't hold him accountable, or just basically hold him accountable and allow him to do what he chooses to do, he feels comfortable in that mediocrity he does. And, as you experience life and you encounter some men or many men, you realize, and when I say encounter, I don't mean a sexual encounter. I'm talking about having conversations with them, listening to how they speak, looking at their life. You realize that what he has promulgated was truth. He had a very candid conversation, telling women, because I think a lot of women, it just didn't add up. The puzzle was not fitting in. And you're saying to yourself, so it's almost like you're saying, so you're giving up gold, or what's above gold, platinum, rubies, emeralds, diamonds, for bronze or for washover. And this is no shade or disrespect, but the reality is that some people are narcissistic and arrogant. They are not even at their potential to even go above it because they choose to. They're not people of decent character. Their hearts are like whitewashed sepulchres, and you see the men going for them. Because think about it, Jezebel was a married woman. Samson fell in love with Delilah. Think about it, women. I'm talking about decent women. The men go for these women, and they will leave the gold. Almost, I was going to say gold, frankincense, and myrrh, the rubies, the diamonds, and the emeralds for bronze or washover, and marry them. Nothing was wrong with you. It had nothing to do with them not loving you or liking you. You made them feel too. It's like they were like an exposed sore. They didn't want to feel accountable. If men don't even like to feel any feeling of control by another woman. What do you think? And that is why they will go. And I started to think about even that movie with Jennifer Hudson and Beyonce. Remember that when Jennifer had on more weight, and when the husband of Beyonce said, why I chose you? Because you're the easy one. Basically, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. When she had sung this song, and I'm telling you, and it's not because of the weight or maybe because she wasn't as beautiful. Her character was better, but, he went for the one who maybe looked, followed the status quo in terms of so-called beauty and, maybe color, whatever it may have been, but not necessarily character, a good, upstanding character, ladies. So I don't want you to feel any way anymore. I was happy when I heard a man say it. I said, no, it all makes sense, because I said, You can't have so many men who are that idiotic. But the story of Samson is real. Delilah was able to encapsulate the heart, mind, and soul of Samson. Delilah. Jezebel was able to do the same with King Ahab. They were married. Well, Jezebel, I can't remember. I remember Samson was married then. I don't remember what happened. I don't think he had married Delilah. But he fell head over heels in love with her. If he did, I don't recall. I'm not saying that he didn't. Just have to go back to the story. But the reality is that he would have married her if she said instantaneously. He fell head over heels in love with her. So I want the women of Proverbs 31 character, even some of it, to not feel daunted anymore, to not feel less than anymore, to not feel like what is it about you, why he couldn't just love you. It has nothing to do with that. You were the type who would make him have to live up to scratch. He couldn't just operate any and every old way. He couldn't do as he pleases. And if you leave men to their whims and fancies, they will do that. Many of them, my dear ladies. So I want you to feel liberated today. Today you've got your liberation and freedom card. Liberty belongs to you. Freedom belongs to you. It has nothing to do with love, but everything to do with love at the same time. I used to think, I said, my God, it just never made any sense. And sometimes the woman say, and look at the woman that he chose. And it's not so much about the aesthetics, but you might say, but this woman is not necessarily of much or of great character. And he left me. And women would sometimes make to feel as though, oh, they were too miserable or they had some bad traits. We all do. You show me one. I've often said, even if you bring, all my respect would go to, well, I say all, just a manner of speaking, would go to the very late, great and esteemed Mother Teresa, because of the philanthropic work that she did for the poor, for the needy. She gave of herself. She was the consummate Proverbs 31 woman, but she had flaws. She would make man pull off the hair when him have pan him head. If she were a married woman, she had flaws as well. It doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. So feel liberated today, my wonderful, wonderful women. It wasn't because, oh, he didn't love you, or you probably were not the one. For him, you really were too good for him, but not in the way that you think. And he spared you a bullet to the liver, to the kidney, to the heart when he left you and went elsewhere. He did. Trust me, may not feel that way initially until afterwards. Think about it, ladies. They may leave you and you're in pain and you're hurt and you feel less than and like you're not worth and all of the feelings that come with the loss of love. And when years pass and you probably get married and get involved with somebody else, you said, I really had liked that individual. How many women has that happened to? I don't even like how he looks. Wait, no, in the present reality that you're at, it's like you're saying, I don't even like how he looks. Look at him. And oftentimes those men, when they realize that they gave up gold, frankincense, and myrrh, rubies, diamonds, emeralds for washover, they want to run coming back. That's why they run come back. That is why they run come back, and they realize they made a grave mistake. They should have lived the life of being held accountable, because their lives would have been prosperous. They would have been happy. They would have been joyous. They would have been at peace. And they did not know what they had until it is gone. And there are many people like that, giving up the best for good, not even for the better. They didn't drop a step down. They drop 2 notches down. Or 3, go down to worse. Then worse, then bad. Or maybe I should say bad, then worst. Yeah, drop down to bad. Again, some unfortunately worse, then some worst. It is a reality, ladies. Feel liberated. Clap yourselves. It's not the Proverbs 31 woman that you and I are. No. They just did not want to be held accountable, because I've heard men said women don't like to apologize or don't like to be held accountable. No, men. You are the ones who don't like to apologize and to be held accountable. It touches on your manhood and you don't want that. Your testosterone and macho way has to stay strong. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me a line, please. Thank you.